All right, part two. And this is the video where I expect everything to crash. And by that, I mean, I've done the download for a 40 billion parameter model. I've done the download for a 70 billion parameter model, but let me do a quick recap. What this was prompted by was a new to the market product called Tiiny AI. And if you caught the last video, I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but I will say this, it's pretty cool. I was a part of the Kickstarter campaign. I mean, I'm really excited. And once I get this, and of course I'll be able to connect some dots and do what I do best as far as these how-to videos by Tim Unscripted. Now, going over to the reason for all of this that you just saw was their PowerInfer software is open source and it's available on GitHub. And I thought to myself, well, why not try to run this experiment with the software installed on my System76 Pangolin 15 Linux laptop, see how this actually works out, and really show you whether or not it's an experiment that you might want to run for yourself. Now, mind getting over the hump in part one took me an hour. So this is not for the faint of heart. And Perplexity was my tool. It's my go-to when it comes to troubleshooting. And so that video shows a lot of the stuff that went into making all of this get to the point where we could actually run potentially the 70 billion parameter model, but I'm pretty confident the 40 billion parameter model will run. And by that, I mean this Falcon 40 billion. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. So both of these models are downloaded. What I've actually done is I've set up the command structure for compiling and running the 40 billion parameter model. I've also queued up the naming convention to pull over. Why am I only seeing this? Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I'm going to have to make an adjustment here, folks, because this is the wrong. Okay. This is what I get for trying to do something that okay. So this is me prepping now. Let's go CD, tilde, and this. Oh, come on. Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be ugly. So what you're actually seeing me do is the command I already did, and then ls for list files. So then I'm going to copy and paste this model name back here into PowerInfer once we've seen this model actually do what it's supposed to do. So I'm hopeful. Yeah, there's times where I'm like, is this going to work? I don't know. I don't know. And it looks positive, although didn't respond the way the model did the first time. Let's do this. Let's figure out where it's actually loaded to. So VRAM is completely loaded. It's not using any of the system memory. So if it was using system memory, this would be ramping up, which is really what the test is. The fact of the matter is that this GTT is intentionally set up to help run these types of models. Now, mind you, oh, wow. Okay. Oh, it did run. Well, there you go. Yeah. And it ran differently. So if you know what just happened, then drop a comment in below the video, because I just completely, I was hoping to see an indicator that I didn't actually get to see. But suffice it to say, we've got an output, and that's not a bad thing, which it just means that it was successful and it loaded all 40 billion parameters of that. Well, it loaded the model, it ran the model, and it created the output. So that is a possibility. Now, the bigger thing is, how do we make that work with the other model? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up here, and this is me. And part of the way that I work is I cut, copy, paste, or I should say copy, paste, cut. Anyway, I work and go back to the thing that did work in the prior, instance, because if it worked then, it should work now. And all we're doing is running an experiment and basically modifying the experiment to use a different set of variables. And so let's get back down here and Control Shift V. And now, oh, seriously. Now we get to change the path name, or actually the model name, to this model. And so come over here, copy that. And I'm actually going to copy the directory name too, because I know better. I know how this works. Control Shift V, and come back over here, and not enough coffee first thing in the morning. Control-Shift-V, and that's going to set us up to run this model. Let me get back to the end of the sentence here. And of course, oh, I know what it is. It's because I have a space where there shouldn't be a space. Oh, maybe not. Thank you for holding on, folks. In build main, I mean, this is what ran the last time. Boy, this is a lot of verbose language. In build main, Falcon, once upon a time. Nothing changed. You saw it, I saw it, nothing changed. Oh, maybe because it's still not loaded. Until it's unloaded. That'd be. Yeah. This is precisely why I go back here. Copy this, and I bring it back to Perplexity to help me troubleshoot. So, billion parameter model loaded and ran without issue. I tried to do the same with the semi-parameter model and releasing the error below. Do I need to unload the 40B model before building? Loading the 40B model? It's a good thing I have a second brain. And unload it all. Run as a fresh process problem is just bash, not PowerInfer. Okay. Only happens when the preceding line didn't join correctly. Oh, see, this is the thing I get for being a technologist and not a software developer. I probably would have caught that. But here's the kicker. So this is now corrected. And so there we go. Make sure there's no space after the backslash at the end of each line. And again, this is stuff that if I did this on a regular basis, I would pretty much know that was the case. So, put it in one line. There you go. No unloading between the models. And they're completely independent. It doesn't stay resident in any way once the process exits, aside from the operating system page catching. PowerInfer just maps the 40 billion to use it. Cool. We're going to be off to the races here. So let's do this. Control-Shift-V. Oh, no. That will cause us problems. Oh, seriously. That's what I hate sometimes. Okay. Oh, fine. Oh, all right. I do want to make sure that there's, yep, quotation mark. All right. So rather than getting antsy like I did the last time when I saw some activity, I'm just going to run it and we're going to watch it together. There we go. Not too shabby. Probably 13 tokens per second, I suppose. A lot of great analytic data here. And the compute buffer size is just 208 megabytes. This is really neat. Very neat. And you can tell by the fact that this is generating the story in multiple lines, you can see that this is, fairly sophisticated. So print timings, tokens, yeah, 4 tokens, 5 tokens per second. totally valid time. So there we go. A good run, to say the least. And it really shows you the fact that you can. Now, I don't consider either the 40 billion or the 70 billion parameter models truly performance, because of course it's a longer, slower token generation cycle. Now, think about it this way. If you're hardware constrained and you want to run agents and do work, and you don't mind just having things run in the background, this might be an option for you based on the current hardware that you're running. Now, mind you, it I can only demo what I've got in my home lab. So the fact that fortunately have this System76 Pangolin 15 laptop, which there's a story behind it, and I don't need to get into it. This was supposed to be my daily driver for work, but it didn't work out that way. And so I've been using it for other purposes, which is to really benefit you as part of the community, the tinkerers and scientists and people who like to experiment with this type of technology on your personal hardware. The PowerInfer build out and operation, as you can see from the first video and from the second video, may be a good option for you to help you kind of get over the hump of, oh, I don't have a GPU that has, 24 gigabytes of VRAM, so I can't run this. Again, this is a laptop, and there's a little bit of hacking, but we saw from the earlier metrics that even that pool of system RAM that the integrated GPU could use wasn't even touched, because you saw the metrics. Nothing was loaded there. So think through the problem that you're trying to solve and how something like this might help you solve that and get you over that hump. I use large language models every day for work, and I'm fortunate that my company pays for a subscription, and so everything is offloaded to the cloud. But not all of us want to go that direction, and this is the reason why I'm doing these demos, because this is a demonstration of local AI and a degree of AI sovereignty that any one of us, to an extent, to what we can afford, have the option of choosing. So I'm not going to pontificate anymore. This is my channel. This is the direction that I prefer to go. I'm showing you what capabilities exist and are out there. Also wanted to show you not just this, and I'm saying this before we wrap up. Well, shoot, I can't remember what it was. I'll remember it. I did actually do something, and so there's going to be a video that comes out here in the next little while based on a comment that I received, and it was a nice ask to run a certain, run an experiment with a certain agent. And I thought, man, yeah, that would be great. And I couldn't actually remember whether or not I had downloaded that agent in the past, but that agent is on the machine, and I probably have some wiring or rewiring to do to make that work. But stay tuned. There's another agent video on the System76 Pangolin 15 coming up in the near future. And with that, I am going to wrap up this now 2-part video series where we loaded a smaller 7 billion parameter model successfully, and we loaded a 40 billion parameter model and a 70 billion parameter model, and all three of those ran successfully using the repo and the code provided by the folks at Tiiny AI. That is part of their system that's powering their new device that's coming to the market soon. On that note, you've just concluded another how-to video brought to you by Tim Unscripted, and I will see you on the next one.